Right, I'm joined now by John Stahl, who is the political specialist with 680 News. You've been analyzing politics, I'm not even going to say for how long, but you are a veteran analyst of politics. What did you make of this debate? Who was the winner, who was the loser?
Well, I think it was a great debate. I think Doug Ford was the winner. The loser was Kathleen Wynne. And Andrea Horwath, I thought, came in a very strong second. And although I think we could put Horwath as almost winning in the sense that if we're looking for who among these three were able to change any voter's mind who may have been undecided going in, I think she was able to do that on her performance.
And the question is, can she steal Liberal voters for perhaps potential strategic voting?
That is the key question between now and Election Day. There'll be a couple of more debates to go, and she needs to close that gap. But she's the only one that has the room to grow. I think Doug held on to his base. He wins because he was able to very successfully continue to hammer that Liberal record that is very hard to defend without saying something so ridiculously controversial that the whole media coverage and consequence of this debate is what he said out here instead of just his simple messaging. Friends, I guarantee you this, I promise you this, no detail, no trouble, just everything she's doing is wrong. She's looking after her cronies. It's very Ford-like in the presentation, and not as Trump-like as some might have thought.
Right, as what he has been accused of being like. Now, I have to tell you that behind us, where the camera is, each of the leaders will be coming out momentarily, one at a time, to give us their perspective of how they did and how their opponents did. In the meantime, I was concerned initially about Doug Ford. I thought that he came across as very nervous, and it took him some time to warm up. In fact, I think in one of the debates, he didn't say a single word.
Right, and he was actually more nervous before we went on the air than after the camera started to roll, because I could watch him in the room. But I think he knew there was a lot at stake here.
Yes.
Even though he has a loaded gun, and he does have a large lead by all the polls, because that anti-liberal time for change vote is so strong and so high, he would really have to do something outrageous to lose the kind of distance that he has. I think the Conservatives could win with anybody at this stage, and he just has to make sure he doesn't go off the deep end.
And he did not have a major blunder. And I have to say, too, he was at a disadvantage because this was his first provincial debate. Kathleen Wynne, Andrea Horwath have had many under their belts. They're seasoned at this.
I think he'll get criticized if he does it all for not answering questions. The way Andrea Horwath was more successful than I think Kathleen Wynne was in confronting him, saying, you know, Doug, you're just using generalities. I mean, what do you mean by that? Of course there's going to be cuts. Of course there are going to be consequences. You know, you're looking after your cronies. She was at least trying to hold him to account. But if you really parse this out, apart from the transit announcement that he made about $5 billion, and that was new for a regional transit system, he really didn't give any detail to any of the questions that were asked about the 4%, you know, and how many jobs are going to get lost. He just very casually, very Ford-like, and they've learned this from the campaign at City Hall. Just turn it around. Well, you know, 4%, I ask everybody across the province. They think, why not more? Kathleen, you did A, B, C. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do is go after that hydro guy, or I'm going to get that hydro guy. That $6 million man. People love that.
I thought Andrea Horwath, who is about to come out momentarily, had some really good moments where she just let the two of them bicker, and then she would look at the camera and say, this is what the problem is. And here she comes now. Let's see what she has to say about this debate.